Hi friends, now we will read one poem relating to the political strategies. Of course, political strategies also we are supposed to know a little bit, though we may not be political leaders, we may not be leaders of countries, but we have to understand. So this is again a poem from Mahabharata, again repeated in Panchatantra. Panchatantra, you know the story, various fables with various animals, etc. All types of fables are there, like Aesop's fables. So this shloka is originally from Mahabharata, then repeated in Panchatantra. We will read the shloka. Samadhi danda paryanto nayah prokta swayambhuva tesham dandastu papiyan tam pasyad viniyojayet. So this is talking about a fourfold strategy. So the kings, for the safety of any kingdom. Now of course kings are not there, queens are not there, let us forget kings and queens. Let us talk about the President of the United States or Indian Prime Minister or some Chinese Premier, whatever it is. So the country's say leader. So what does he want? He wants the country to be strong. If he wants his country to be strong, he has some four options. So that is, he has to make friends with whomever he can make friends with. That is, establish some trade relations, some sort of give and take, some gentle diplomacy. So all that thing is one way. Then Samadana. Then again, if the other fellow is quite powerful, you have to say befriend him by yielding a little bit. That is another way. Dhanam is by giving something, by giving some material benefit, by giving some financial benefit. So that is it. Then the other way is, if there are 2-3 people, enemies, or your enemy is having some big say following, so you have to bring about some sort of dissension in his group, bring about some sort of division, dissension, some sort of say revolt in his own group, so that some people they revolt against him, they rebel against him, they are displeased with him. So naturally the enemy becomes weak. So weakening the enemy by promoting some sort of revolt within his camp. So that is another way. The fourth way is directly to attack. That is, fourth way is to directly attack. So there are 4 ways in which you can become strong. Otherwise, the other man also is planning the same, because in politics, even if you do not, if you just keep quiet without doing anything, the other man is planning something on you. So that is a law of nature. So that is what this poem says. Samadhi danda paryanto nayah prokta swayambhuva. Here swayambhuva is what? Swayambhu means the creator, the self manifest. Swayambhu, swayambhavati. So that is swayambhu. That is what? The creator. That means this is something which is so natural, this is something which is so fundamental, this is something which is built into the human nature, to make friends, to make enemies, try to become strong, whether it is at the level of a state head or whether it is at the level of an ordinary man. So these 4 strategies, the fourfold strategies, what are they? The technical words in Sanskrit are, because these are the words which are mentioned say in all the say Indian political texts. In India we have got several political texts, starting from the Artha, not only starting from Arthashastra, prior to Arthashastra also there might have been many. Prior to Arthashastra, of course, Mahabharata itself is there. Mahabharata, there are so many things about political strategy. So this apart from Mahabharata, we have got another famous work called the Kautilya's Arthashastra. Arthashastra is not only about economics. Arthashastra is usually mistaken for economics. It is not economics alone. It is statecraft, it is about various other things relating to warfare and various other things. So it is a very, very comprehensive book on statecraft, all aspects of statecraft. Then not only that, there is another called Chanakya Niti, there is another book. There is another book called Kamandaka Niti. So there are several Indian political texts. In all these political texts, so the mention of these fourfold strategy is there. Sama, Dana, Bheda and Danda. Sama means the gentle approach, or friendly with him, have some normal business ties, normal friendly relations, etc. That is Sama. Dana means donate. The English root is donate, that is to give something, that is you are yielding to some extent. Then Bheda, as I said, Bheda means to create a division. Bheda is actually to create a division. Danda actually means a rod. What is it? That is Dandopaya, means going and waging a war straight. So this is this is the fourfold strategy, and there is no other way. In fact, in Ramayana, we know that Hanuman goes to Lanka in search of Sita. Hanuman goes, and then he crosses over the ocean, and then he goes to that Lanka, the capital of Ravana, and practically searches every house, looks into every house, turns himself into a small creature, and then enters each house, and then sees everywhere, and then Sita is not seen. Then he tries to search in all the gardens around. So in one garden, known as that Ashoka garden, the Sita is kept there by Ravana, well guarded by very fierce demons. All these female demons, they are very fiercely, they are there, and then all those demons are guarding her. So he sees her, and then he finds an appropriate time when all the demons were sleeping. So he finds an appropriate time, and then he approaches Sita, and then he identifies himself, and then has a conversation with her, and then also takes a ring from her as a sort of the ring from Lord Rama, which he had brought. He gives to Sita and takes another identification mark from her, and then keeps it with him. And then after everything was over, he doesn't fly back. He doesn't immediately fly back, because he is a wise minister. Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, he was a very, very wise minister. If you see Ramayana, you find him a very, very learned man. So having gone there, he has to see the enemy's strength. So even prior to locating Sita, he has seen various things. He has seen various houses, and then he has also seen the weaponry of Ravana. He has seen various chariots and other things which can be used for war by Ravana. But then he really wants to see their strength. Then he thinks in himself that, all these people, they are such fierce fellows. There is no point speaking using this Sama. Sama means gentle behavior to them. There is no way. Na Sama rakshassu gunaya kalpate, he says. Sama is of no use for these people. Then na danam arthopachiteshi yujyate. These people are so filthily rich that we can't give anything to them. They are so filthily rich. They have looted everywhere. They have looted Kubera himself, the Lord of wealth is Kubera. So this man has looted the Lord of wealth himself and then appropriated his wealth. So there is nothing to be given to him. Then na bheda sadhya baladarpita janaha. That is, these people, they are so proud with they are so arrogant with their strength. So these people, there is very, very difficult to bring about a division also. So parakramastveva mameha rochate. That is, the only way seems to be the fourth strategy, that is danda. The only way is to fight with these people. Then if I want to fight, then I have to know first of all what is their strength. If Rama has to come here and then wage a war with these people, we should know the strength. So without knowing the strength, we can't wage a war. So how to know your strength? I have to pick up a fight with you. So what he does is, he breaks the whole garden, leaving only that tree where Sita is sitting. He is such a mighty person. He uproots trees and then throws them here and there, and then all the gods, then all the demons wake up, and then the demons, they run in fear, and some other gods, extra gods, they come, he throws away, he just lifts them and then throws them all around, and then they breaks their bones, and then they go away. And then some other mighty leaders from Ravana's side, they come, and all those mighty leaders are beaten black and blue by Hanuman. So after that, the son of Ravana himself comes, and then again some Brahmastra, the mightiest weapon was used, and then this man, he surrenders to that out of respect for Brahma, out of respect for Creator. He bows to that and then gets bound and then goes to Ravana's court. So that is the story. So that is how he comes to know the strength of the enemy. So this is the last step is, that is danda, that is war. So that is what this shloka says. Samadhi danda paryantaha nayah prokta swayambhuva. So by this Creator himself, this fourfold policy has been told, in the sense that it is very, very natural. It is not as though Lord's Creator sat in one particular place and gave this fourfold strategy. It is so fundamental to human nature, it is so natural. Then of them, the use of force, the last one, tesham dandastu papiyan. Papiyan means something which is sinful. Dandaha, papiyan, it is sinful because it is going to kill lot many people. So that should be the last option. When there is no other option, that danda is to be followed, till some other option is there, we should not go for that danda because it is going to lead to a lot of violence, lot of death, lot many deaths, etc., lot of bloodshed, etc. Dandastu papiyan tam paschad viniyojayet. Paschad means at the as the final way. There is no other way. When there is no other option, that is the last option. So that is what he says. So here, of course, say samadana bheda danda. These are the fourfold strategies. So in this particular shloka, there is not much of grammar. Danda pariyantaha. Then the second line you see, tesham dandastu papiyan stam paschad viniyojayet. Papiyan plus tam becomes papiyan stam. In that shloka, if you see that papiyan and tam, they are added. Dandastu papiyan stam. So tesham dandastu papiyan, up to that point is one pada. Tam paschad viniyojayet. That particular strategy or that particular option is the last option for people. So that is what the poet says. Let us repeat the poem. Samadhi dandaparyanto.
Samadhi dandaparyanto.
So before that I can elaborate a little bit on the danda also. That is, while waging war again, there are two types of wars. That is straight away going for war with an army and then throwing some bombs and things like that. The second is an indirect war. It can be a trade war, like we see nowadays in modern political environment. We see that a trade war, some country stops some essential supplies to you. He doesn't give sufficient technology to you. It keeps you blind, totally blind. There is no way of using the satellites. There is no way of using anything else. Then there are other things like war on your culture. So they study your culture, and then they keep on portraying your culture as some sort of inferior culture, so that the people here, they get disillusioned. The people here, they feel, we belong to a very, very inferior, culture, and then they keep admiring the enemy. So this is another type of war. So this is the indirect war or proxy war, it is called. So this is one type, and the straight war is another type. So there are so many ways. This proxy war you can find there also in Ramayana or in Mahabharata. So okay, let us read this shloka. Samadhi dandaparyanto.
Samadhi dandaparyanto.
Nayah prokta swayambhuva.
Nayah prokta swayambhuva.
Tesham dandastu papiyan.
Tesham dandastu papiyan.
Tam paschad viniyojayet.
Tam paschad viniyojayet.
Fine.